Hi guys, it's Nicole, and I am super excited to be a part of the school-themed YouTube hop. This is hosted and kind of organized by Sara Scraps here on YouTube. Down in the description box will be a giant list of all the channels participating. The links go to each person's channel. So from there, you just need to look for the school-themed video that they have posted. So the link's not going to go to an individual video. This just kind of makes it, in my opinion, a little bit easier on the creators as far as uploading and things like that go. Plus, it kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of look around at other channels and not just go straight to a video. So from the viewpoint of a fellow hopper, I'm excited to kind of go through the whole list and maybe find some new to me channels, new creators that I can add, and be inspired by even more people. I'm kind of in that phase where I'm wanting to watch more than edit my own videos, so new channels are always a good thing for me. So for my layout and my video for the hop, I am doing our back to school photos. These are from, I feel like I have to do some math. I think these would have been the 19 to 2020 school year. Yes. Pretty much the first day of school, we always go to the park that is sort of attached to our elementary school, and I just do like a little mini session with my kids. I print out a little like first day and whatever grade they are so that 2 years later, like right now, when I finally sit down to do the photos, I have something to go off of what year this was, what grade they were, that kind of thing. I have also been sort of itching to do die cut scenes with my silhouette. So this was kind of my first foray kind of back into that. And I will say that that was probably where most of my time on this layout was spent, was just trying to kind of come up with a design, figuring out what pieces that I wanted, and then figuring out what pattern papers I wanted to cut everything with. And I have like one of those 2-gallon size Ziploc bags that I keep my scraps in. I know it's horrible. It's not organized. It's all shoved in there. But for right now, that's what works for me. And I tend to just kind of dig through that if I'm going to be doing something like this, where I'm going to be die cutting a bunch of different stuff from a bunch of different pattern papers. I kind of would rather go to my scraps first and see if anything in there will work. And pretty much every single thing that I cut came from that scrap. The notebook paper, that is kind of my faux background. It's basically the left and right margins, is from the Simple Stories like basics lines, where one side of the paper is a bunch of different wood patterns, and then the other side of the paper is a bunch of like notebook and ledger papers. I've repurchased that in 12 by 12, 6 by 6, whatever size they will put that out in, I will repurchase it. Those are kind of my favorites. So I basically figured out which photos did I want to print. I went with kind of like a DIY photo collage clustered into the center of my layout, which basically gave me like 5-inch sections on the far left and on the far right to kind of have fun and be able to put all of my embellishments there. If I do something like this that's super photo heavy, I kind of like to keep the photos together and keep the embellishments together and kind of have everything just stand on its own. So I like to open up Silhouette Studio, drop in rectangles that are the same sizes as my photos, and size my shapes around that, putting everything on a 12 by 24 inch like workspace. So I used a couple different cut files to do like a stack of books. I found a globe, and over on the right, I found a couple other cut files where it was like a banner that said back to school, and then like a rainbow that was made out of school supplies. So like I said, most of it was just time spent cutting different things, sizing different things, swapping out paper, that kind of thing. I did decide to put my books in rainbow order. I absolutely love when I can put something in rainbow order. And then what I decided to do was just go through my whole like school stash and find any kind of like small stickers and die cuts that I could tuck in that were the same colors as the book. So like I found a red pencil and a red paper airplane to kind of tuck in between like the pink and red books. I found some push pins in a bunch of different colors. Those die cuts that I'm digging through right now are super old. They're from Jelly Bean Soup. This is back when the die cuts came on like a 12 by 12 sheet and they were like perforated and you poked them out. I wish, looking back now, that I had bought a couple more of those. They're probably my absolute favorite thing in my like school bin. And I tend to, like, I wanted to use a bunch of them, but I was like, no, hold up. Like, these are too good. Don't use too many of them. But I did go through and I pulled out quite a few of the push pins and a couple different pieces. And then everything else just kind of came from different sticker sheets from lots of different lines. I think there's an older Simple Stories sticker sheet in there. I think this one on top might be Echo Park. One of them I know for sure is called Teacher's Pet. Some of them are more cream based. Some of them are more white based. This type of thing, like a die cut scene where I want to tuck stickers and stuff in, to me, that's the easiest way to mix and match manufacturers, mix and match different lines. So I go with it. Now, this cut file here, I did eliminate a lot of the different layers just to simplify it. Between the yellow pencil and the blue pencil, there was actually a bunch of little paperclip images to die cut, and I knew that my machine was going to eat those. So I left it blank right now. I really wanted to do a bunch of like die cut hearts in a rainbow order and put it in there. I ran out of time for that. So I ended up, you'll see here in a little bit, I ended up finding paperclip stickers and just kind of filled in from there. The little like brown arch is supposed to be a ruler, but I had to go in and edit the actual cut file to remove a bunch of like the back and forth like sawtooth looking things, because it didn't matter what settings I put on my Cameo, it just ate that cut file. And I wasn't surprised. Typically things like that don't cut well on my machine. So my solution is I edit the actual shape and I take out a bunch of the plot points and just make it a more simple shape and go with it. I did print my journaling directly onto the pattern paper. I basically just made sure that I laid out my die cuts prior to printing my journaling and used a pencil to kind of mark how much space I had. And I shared a video, I want to say 2 weeks ago, more in depth of how I print journaling on things like lined pattern paper like this or like journaling cards. So I'll put a link up in the eye above, and I'll put a link down in the description box underneath the hop links as well. So if that's something that you're kind of struggling with, or you're wondering how I go about doing it, there is a pretty long video just kind of breaking it down on how I do it and how it works for me. So at this point, I am, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and assemble all these little pieces into this little rainbow. I probably took out maybe half of the different layers and stuff that was on this cut file just to kind of make my life a little easier. I have like that big stack of books over on the left. I wanted to incorporate another type of like cut file or scene over here on the right, but I also didn't want it to be a ton of work. So I just kind of wanted a smaller, more simpler sort of scene kind of going over here on the right. This banner file, I think essentially you were supposed to cut the word back, the word to, and the word school all separated onto different little like fishtail banners. I chose to not do that. I think hindsight, I kind of wish I had just kept it as is, but I made it work. I just put the word school in the banners and cut it out that way, and then I backed it with scraps of the same kind of rainbow colors that I had used on the books. Just mostly to bring in more color over there because the whole title was cut with just some black pattern paper. And like I said, most of the time spent on this layout was deciding what color papers to cut and cutting them. Gluing everything together goes really quickly, and that's kind of why I ask myself all the time, like, if I love the end result of die cut scenes, why don't I do them more often? And the answer is because sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to spend, a whole day designing and editing and cutting all those shapes. But man, at the end, die cut scenes they're just good. So now I'm kind of in the mood where I'm like, maybe once a month I'm going to try to tell myself, like, let's just have fun. Let's pull out the giant bag of scraps and let's do like a die cut scene. And like, I even have different ideas like written down for month in review series. I want to do a whole year of month in review layouts with die cut scenes because I think it would be really cute, especially being able to use like seasonal type designs and stuff like that. But I'm a procrastinator and I'm currently in a land of lots and lots of stress going on. So trying to find time to kind of finish videos right now is where I'm at. Like, I have a bunch of stuff filmed, ready to go. I just need to sit down, take the time to kind of organize it all, figure out what goes to what, get the videos edited, and get them ready to go. This was the point where I kind of felt like the right was just a little bit empty. So I went back to my sticker sheets and I found this banner sticker that I felt like would kind of go with the banner and everything else. And I tucked a piece on the right and a piece on the left to kind of bring them together. And this was when I did a final pass through of the sticker sheets, looking for similar items that were small enough that I could make a rainbow arch out of them. And I saw that I had 5 paperclip stickers. So that was definitely way easier than cutting them out from the original cut file. And that was pretty much it. I had considered doing like some Nuvo drops and I skipped that. Here was my cheater method for the tips of the pencils. I used a black glaze pen instead of trying to cut teeny tiny little pieces out of the black cardstock. But yeah, that's my layout. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, make sure you open the description box below the video and enjoy the giant list of inspiration on the back to school hop. And be sure to leave comments, thumbs up for everybody. And again, thank you to Sara Scraps for hosting this.